In a surprising ruling, a federal judge has now severely limited government efforts to lean on social media companies like Facebook and Twitter. The move is being hailed by free speech advocates, but the White House says it's assessing its options.
I'm looking at this ruling, and I want to understand the logic behind it. Can you explain that?
Yeah, in addition to the plaintiff states, there were also plaintiff individuals who allege that the federal government, including the White House, including the CDC, the Surgeon General, engaged in a suppression campaign by contacting social media companies like Facebook and Twitter and essentially coercing them into taking down the plaintiff's speech, which included things about COVID-19, vaccines, election integrity, generally, according to the opinion, conservative-leaning speech. Now, immediately, the thing that jumps out is the fact that if anyone, you might say that if anyone had their free speech curtailed, it was the social media companies and not the plaintiffs directly. But the court says essentially, because the government engaged in this kind of coercion, that it is potentially a First Amendment violation.
Is the argument here that because the government is so powerful, the White House itself so powerful, that even contacting these social media companies to discuss these kinds of things, even if they don't issue any kind of an order or anything phrased as an order, just that contact could be sort of bullying on First Amendment grounds?
Yes to that contact, but in addition, the opinion notes that the government contacted these companies, just like you or I might, to ask them to take something down. But when you and I do it, they might crumple it up and throw it away. When the White House calls, people listen, not just social media companies, but everybody answers that call. So they took meetings with them. They had email exchanges. But beyond that, when the White House and other government agencies didn't get what they wanted, according to the opinion, they made some not so subtle threats. Like, we're going to have to look at this really closely. We're going to have to look at your immunity under Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Maybe we'll have an antitrust meeting. This is something we really need to take a look at. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but what the court concluded is that making those statements went a step too far. We can expect the White House will contact these companies, but to then say, when we're not getting what we want, therefore we might bring the might of the U.S. government against you, that goes too far.
Yes, this is a Trump-appointed judge, but this judge was confirmed 98-0 by the Senate. Just reading the words in this injunction, a, quote, massive effort by the defendants to suppress speech based on content, those are the judge's words, calling the present case, quote, arguably involves the most massive attack against free speech in the United States history, Ellie.
Yeah. It's a dramatic decision by this judge. If you read through it, he's citing to literature and George Washington and Ben Franklin. Here's what really is astonishing to me. This is a conservative ideology that clearly comes through in this decision. It's a conservative political ideology, right? We saw some of the quotes questioning vaccines, questioning masks, conservative talking points. But the ruling itself is the opposite of judicial conservatism. This is one of the most aggressive, far-reaching rulings you'll ever see. What this judge is purporting to do is to micromanage, really, the day-to-day interactions between essentially the entire executive branch, all these agencies that are listed as defendants, and the leading social media companies. And in the actual temporary injunction, the judge basically says, you're not allowed, administration, to talk to these social media companies about any protected free speech except for cybersecurity threats, national security threats, criminal threats. But where's the line? Who's going to police this? This is a judge trying to micromanage the day-to-day regular activities of the entire executive branch.
That's about as Washington, D.C. as it gets.